breaking news coming in. Pakistan is clearly very spooked. It's warmongering, and how? There's a big reaction that's coming in from Pakistan's foreign minister right now. Pakistan's foreign minister is threatening India with war. It's not just their defense minister, but Ishaq Dar, their deputy prime minister and their foreign minister, has threatened India with a certain war if Indus waters are stopped. Ishaq Dar says we are not in a mood to retaliate, but we have to take our economy forward. If Indus waters are not released, then just hear the words exactly from him.
अगर आपने हमारे पानी के साथ कोई गड़बड़ की, ये तो पेपर पे है ना, ना बहस वही है, तो हम फिर ये एक जंग तस्वर होगी, क्योंकि ये 240 मिलियन लोगों की लाइफ लाइन है, उनकी एग्रीकल्चर, हमें पानी ऑब्वियसली एक बुनियादी जरूरत है हर एक की, तो इसलिए इसमें कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं होगा.
Air Marshal Chopra, your appreciation of what Ishaq Dar is saying, that if you stop the Indus waters, there will be war. And as Tilak Deveshwar was just telling us, India's already telling Pakistan, one day they stopped water, one day they flooded the Jhelum, or it's just starting.
You know, Gaurav, I think it is rhetoric, as have been some of the other speeches in the last few days, primarily aimed at their own public. And therefore, we will get more of these, but we don't have to get worried about this. You know, we must concentrate. I personally am of the opinion, like General Tiny Dillon, that, you know, this escalation ladder that we're all talking about can be highly managed, overrated, you know, as if anything we'll do, they will nuke us. Nothing like that is going to happen. You know, we have got more nuclear warheads. We have got now, you know, multiple warhead capabilities. So I think we should not overplay this. Pakistani nuclear bluff has already been, you know, called out. So therefore, I do believe that we have to do a multi-domain operation. All the three services have to act in unison. The three chiefs have been put together in that meeting that we have seen. We have to, you know, run a barrage of firing on the LOC. We have to make them run dry. We have to hit the military targets, certainly the near ones. And we can manage the escalation surely. It's not going to be nobody is going to go nuclear, I promise you, yeah.
Okay. In a situation, you know, what you say is very heartening. Admiral Sinha, in a situation that India were to actually implement what we are saying, because there are many who are saying, how long can you hold water? You can't hold it indefinitely. You will have to release water. You don't have the storage capacity. You can't divert the Indus water from Ladakh down to Ganga Nehar. It's just not feasible. So this is an empty threat. Do you think it's an empty threat? If you were to combine India's actions, starting with Indus Waters Treaty, which has never been blocked before or held in abeyance before, and the military actions that are being spoken of, if you were the Red Army chief, if you were the Red Team chief, would you be a concerned man tonight?
Let me first get back to this Indus water. You know, Prime Minister Modi made a statement in 2016 that this Indus water treaty is absolutely unfair and we need to do something. And since then, the government is not sitting idle. There are already tunnels, already, you know, the diversion methods have already been created. It's just a matter of saying, yes, go ahead and implement. We heard that Jhelum was already sort of flooded the day before yesterday. So this is just a test that this is what can happen and this is how your country will react, but they will actually not react. Because don't forget, Pakistan has much more to lose if they start a war. And as Marshal Chopra said, a lot of it they have to say in their own Senate, in their own parliament. They have to say it for the benefit of the people. It's basically an agricultural intensive country. And if they don't make these statements, they will have a public uprising. You know, more than religion, I think the stomachs don't get filled. You know, there's going to be trouble. So I would say that it is not an empty threat. The control of the river flow of Indus River is very much in the hands. The methods have already been created. It is just a question of implementing it immediately. So I won't go so much. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Deveshar, when you look at Pakistan's internal situation, if it's trying to fight India at the line of control, which is 770 kilometers long, or even along the international border in Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, doesn't it fear what could happen, in Gilgit-Baltistan or in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or in Baluchistan? Does Pakistan Army have the wherewithal to fight on multiple fronts, on two borders and internally?
I don't think so. You see, as it is, there were reports that elements of 11 Corps and 12 Corps have been moved to the Indian border. So this opens up space for the Baloch freedom fighters as well as for the TTP. And I don't think that Pakistan will be able to manage both tensions with India on the, especially if it goes into some sort of a military exchange, and manage the Baloch freedom fighters as well as the TTP. So I think the unintended consequences, which probably they didn't anticipate or calculate, of Pahalgam is going to be that these two organizations, the Baloch as well as the Pashtuns, are going to have pretty much a free run of the place. And now Pakistan is going to be able to manage that with an active border with India and a pretty active border with the Taliban too. So they are painted themselves in some sort of a corner by this bravado action which they took in Pahalgam. And now the fallout of that is going to hit them severely. And
Would
you
it be
combine this...
Go on, sir. Please complete your point. Go on, sir.
After you combine this with the water crisis that is going to hit them in the face, I think it's pretty tough. It's going to get very, very uncomfortable in Pakistan.
It indeed is. In fact, there are some reports that already say that there are some in Pakistan, General Dillon, who are already feeling the heat. Their army is stretched to the core. There was a report which seemed to indicate that to make money, and Pakistan calls us baniyas, but Pakistan, to make money, sold off its own ammunition, its active stocks of ammunition to Ukraine. It did get dollars, but now it cannot replenish and cannot replenish so quickly. So its own WWR or war wastage reserves are down by some reports, and you can tell me whether they're authentic or not, to less than a week. What is in case there's a full-blown war, your appreciation, General Dillon?
Gaurav, I made a reference to it in my previous interjection, that war fighting stamina of India vis-a-vis the war fighting stamina of Pakistan, especially in very high-end weapon systems, the aircraft ammunitions, the naval equipments and accessories, and of course within the army also the missiles and all. It is not easy to buy such weapon systems and equipment and ammunitions, and Pakistan hardly produces anything in-house. So it has to depend on China and Turkey for everything. And this time the world is with India. Even during the war, even if someone wants to help it other than these two countries, I don't think anyone would come forward to help a state like Pakistan, because the whole world is fed up of Islamic terror, and the whole world is fed up of this nuclear in the hands of a state which practices terrorism as a statecraft. So war fighting stamina is in India's favor, and that is where we should hit Pakistan military targets so that their stamina further goes down in the initial phase itself.
Very, very interesting. And that is why we get the finest voices on matters military and strategy, so that you form an opinion based absolutely on facts and not Pakistani propaganda that some may seek to peddle.